What's up, folks? As you can see, this is going to be part 2 of installing a rear disc brake kit from Vintage Race Works. I got the kit in yesterday, and as you can see, it comes with 2 brackets for your caliper. Basically the axle flange spacer. You got your little hardware here. Then you got the hub centering ring, caliper bolts, the axle flange retaining bolts, and it even comes with instructions. As you can see, tells you how to disassemble it, make sure you get all the parts you're supposed to do, insulation, brake line recommendation, master cylinder recommendation, shows you a little picture of the direction the axle brackets are supposed to go, well, the caliper bracket's supposed to go, finished product. So as you can see, I'm going to start installing it. The first thing you want to do is get this sucker right here lined up, and you see how you got to kind of move it to make the lines align. See, you can see my fingerprint right through it. So once you got it aligned like this, you're gonna put one of the long bolts in. Now, as you can see right here, you got 6 long bolts and 1 short bolt. The short bolt is usually gonna go right here, but once I put it all together, I'll show you. Okay, so you see why you gotta put the long bolts right here, because it's a thick plate. And then the short bolt goes up here. Now you put on your spacer, and it only really goes on what you find. You look at the way how the axle flange is made. It's basically the spacer is made the same way. So you just put it in just like this. Bam. So once you do this, guess what time it is? Time for you to put your axle in. I'm gonna go put my axle in and tighten up these bolts. All right, more to come. So as you can see, I got everything on. The spacer gets sandwiched between the axle flange. That axle flange, I guess what you call its own spacer thing, but as you can see, this is how it goes, and you get you a 14mm and you just start tightening them up through your big drilled axle hole, and that's what I'm doing now. All right, folks, so after you get your axle retainer ring and everything bolted back up here, time for you to put on the spacer. And the spacer goes on basically this way, but before you do that, it's recommending cleaning off your surface of the hub bore with a wire wheel or a freaking hand brush, you know, the wire hand brushes. So you're gonna use that cleaned off. I use some brake cleaner to just get off the dirt. So now you put this bad boy on. You get her on, and now put your rotor on. I'm gonna have to use both hands. Okay, as you can see, I got the rotor on. Now it's recommended to put a wheel lug nut on, just so you could basically hold the rotor center, so you can bolt your calipers on, which I'm going to be doing. And basically, that's where the last 2 black bolts and the spacer comes in. So basically, the rotor is not too like, it's basically the spacer is basically the center of the caliper more. That's what well, I shouldn't say spacer, the flat washers for it. It's basically space out the caliper more so it's more even, and that's what a flat washer is when you go and put in your caliper bolts that you get supplied. So that's what I'm about to go do right now. She's looking pretty. So as you can see, that I'm going to install the brake pad, and the brake pad comes with a kit, and the kit comes with these little clips that basically go on the end of these brake pads like this. If I could do it with one hand. Basically, you're gonna have your brake pad, then you're just gonna, it's hard to do it with one hand, but you're just gonna press it on this way. If I could get it on like that, press it on, then you're gonna slide in the brake pad, but I'll show you that once I get them all on. So as you can see, I got the clips on. I had to use a little flat base screwdriver to pry this little tab down. So now you just go ahead and install your tab. It is kind of hard to do it with one hand, but I'm going to have to use my flat bait to basically pry this back down to get the pad in. So after you get the clips in with the calipers, you're going to install the little retaining ring thing and the, I guess, the anti-rattle clip you put in the caliper. And basically you're gonna push your caliper up. You might have to slide it a bit, and then with that retaining clip, you gotta push the caliper and then tighten up the bolt. As you can see, I got it in. Now, like I said, this is just for demonstration purposes, for install, because I'm gonna put some grease on the back of the pad to make sure it doesn't squeak and all that good stuff. But basically, this is the end of the installation of part 2 of installing vintage raceworks disc brake bracket. Everything here is assembled. One thing I do know, I'm gonna have to get a new parking brake cable because this one is too short now, so I gotta get a cable. But in part 3, I'm just gonna show you basically me doing the plumbing. So I'm gonna basically redo all the brake lines from the rear to the front. All 4 brake lines are gonna be replaced. So, because it's old, and for more peace of mind, for me, I'm gonna put new brake lines. And since it got new disc brakes, more pressure, I don't want to spring no leak anywhere. So just for my peace of mind, I'm gonna put new brake lines, and that's gonna be in part 3. So part 3 probably won't come until next year. Gotta find a part, find some money to go buy the parts and a new master cylinder. But more to come. End of part 2, installing the brakes. As you can see, she looking pretty. All right, peace.